October is time for high power in the heart of Dixie. The 5th annual Bama Blastoff event in Aliceville, Alabama. One of the highest waivers east of the Mississippi. You can launch your rockets up to 16,500 feet. Bama Blastoff also features over 2,000 acres of open fields and nearly 12,000 acres of mostly opened land for recovery, on-site food, parking for RVs, and a team of dedicated riders on ATVs to help you shag your rockets. We've even got our own real-time weather station on site. Reservations are filling up fast for the launch on October 29th and 30th. Learn more at BamaBlastoff.com. That's BamaBlastoff.com. High power in the heart of Dixie.
Fiction and reality. New stories, new ideas. Little Beth Entertainment.
Welcome to The Rocketry Show at TheRocketryShow.com. I'm CG.
I'm Gene.
All right, and this is a news episode. I'm not quite sure how long this is going to go. This is the first time we're trying to do just a general news podcast. So we'll see what the length is.
Given all the stuff that's happening out there, we'll just do what we can and go with it and see what we get, right?
Yeah, we'll go and we'll talk about the news, and we're going to comment on what's happening here in the world of rocketry, which is a little different from our interview podcast. So I thought we'd go and break this off into just a standalone thing itself. So when we're in between episodes or in between production, right now we're ramping up in production for both shows. So we're producing content so we can start releasing, I guess what will be another season. We'll just start the new season maybe a month early or something. But we have lots of stuff. The Rocketry show's the Model Rocket show's got quite a few things in process right now. That's pretty cool. One's already recorded in the can, and we've got a couple more great things to go. And the Rocketry show is just getting started. A lot of cool stuff on its own side of things as well. So yeah, there you go. That's a little bit of a show news, but we're going to go into the news of the hobby right now. And so we're going to just read the news and comment on it. And the first one we've got to talk about here is something really cool. And I think Steve Thatcher of SMT Designs kind of hinted to this when he was talking to us on the last episode, but he went ahead and did it. I know it's been on his mind for a while to do this. And what he's done is gone and taken all of the SMT designs, all the things that are done on a 3D printer, which are all the mounts for your AVBAYs and rocketry things, all the things he's created in 3D modeling that's been a product to be bought from SMT Designs has now all been turned over to public domain. So he's placed all of his designs under Creative Commons Attribution and ShareAlike 4.0 International. And we'll have links in our show notes if you want to know what that's about. But basically, it opens it up for the hobbyist to take his designs and incorporate them into yours.
And quite frankly, this is a major announcement. There is a ton of parts, various AVBAYs, nose cone sleds, device sleds, mounts.
Well, they're not sleds. Don't forget, they're not sleds now.
True. That's true. Yeah, mounts for sleds is what I said. So. But there's all kinds of parts, bulkhead plates, various things, and there's a ton of stuff out there. So you really, I was just looking at his site, just going through stuff, and it's like, wow, that is a lot of files out there. So, if you have any interest in that, it's amazing that he went ahead and did that. So let's just go ahead and see what he's got. So it's a lot of stuff.
It's his way of giving back to the hobby. And I do want to point out now, because I hear his voice in my head right now, that he's like, his whole point is to get away from whole sled technology and get into something a little bit better and more robust and not so heavy for rocketry. So that's what his designs are all about. And one of the things he asks is that if there are modifications of the design done by the Rocketeers, that's okay if it's something to make it work with your rocket. But keep in mind that he's trying to create a new standard for mounting all these things in rockets. So with that in mind, if you stick with the standards, then all the parts, pieces that everyone makes and puts out there, if they do the same as him and put their modifications in with Creative Commons, they can all interconnect and interoperate with each other. And that's the whole point. Because if you don't stick with some of at least the basics of what he's designed as far as the standard mounting schemes and the way of attaching things, then you're just left with the only standard in rocketry out there is the stuff that's already out there, and like sleds and screws and things. So heavy screws, and sleds and things, which is the whole point, is to move beyond that and have something that the hobby can use reliably that's better than that. So.
And he's referring to this as a carrier system, essentially.
Yes.
And that's what it is, because it's modular. There's lots of modular pieces, parts. So I guess that's the best way to describe it, as modular carrier system. So, and it is. And if you stick to the standards, that could benefit everybody. So it's a bold move. And I'm actually really interested in see what shakes out about all this. It's pretty exciting, too.
And Steve is available for asking questions. If you've got questions on anything you want to do for a mod or whatever, he's made himself available either through the SMT Designs site or the SMT Designs Facebook page. So, feel free to reach out. Take a look at what he's got. Look it over very carefully. And if you've got questions, just let him know. But don't, just don't hack away at it willy-nilly and go off into the weeds with something that just doesn't work with something that someone else may have come up with as well. Or that won't work with Steve's original designs. So keep that in mind. He thought a lot about this stuff, and he's given a lot of thought, and he wants, that to stay.
Cool. Very cool. Thanks, Steve. It's amazing.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool news. SMT Designs are releasing all of their rocketry designs to public domain. And some other rocketry news, and this would be interesting to you too, Gene. Tripoli Rocketry Association has come up with a new unified safety code. Yep. And basically, everything in the safety code, it's not like there's new rules or anything, but what Bob Brown and the gang did at Tripoli was to take all the scattered information on the safety code for the high power safety code under Tripoli and organize it so it's all in one place. So they're calling it the Unified TRA Safety Code. And they says under the safety code, there are no longer commercial launches or research launches. They're all just Tripoli launches now. And so there are some changes to the current safety code, such as common safe distance table, a safety code for both model rockets, as well as radio-controlled boosted gliders, as well as other changes, but they're nothing drastic, and they're not things that weren't already recommended before. And the old system is just all organized.
I've been to a couple launches under the new rules, and it's really, it's not a big deal. And actually, in some ways, it's simpler because, if you're going to a Tripoli launch, it's like, oh, is this an experimental launch or is this a regular Tripoli launch? There's always that question. And right now, with the onset of the new rules, it basically simplifies everything. And it seems like there's more to it when you look at it originally, but they're trying to cover everything in one shot. So it's really, I've flown under the new rules. It's not any big deal and any changes that I've noticed in my normal activities on the range. So, take a look at them, just go over them. There's nothing mind bending or earth shattering that's going to piss you off or anything. It's all just basically in one place. And I think it's actually simplified, even though it appears to be a whole bunch. It's just in one place now. That's all.
Right. And TRA wants to send a big thanks to Steve Shannon, who undertook the daunting task of completing the information from the original 4 documents and writing in plain English, not legalese, a document that all can understand and follow. And that's basically more or less a quote from the TRA press release on the information there. So check that out.
I had a chance to read them. So it's in English. Check it out. It's very understandable. Not a big deal, but something to keep aware of.
The links will be in our show notes for this news episode here on the website. So check it out at TheRocketryShow.com. Other Tripoli news, during the LDRS 40 members banquet, they announced where the next LDRS event, LDRS 41, will be. It's going to be in Wisconsin area.
Kenosha, Wisconsin.
Yeah.
At the Richard Bong Recreational Area. Very cool. And so it's going to take place on July 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th of 2023. And more details and information will be coming soon from Tripoli. So that's actually not too far away from all you Midwestern types like me and CG.
Yeah. So that's going to be pretty exciting and pretty fun for next year.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
I'm going to try and make that one if I can.
And just a quick reminder, now that we've mentioned the next LDRS, that the NARM 63 is going to be happening July 16th through the 22nd of this year.
Mm-hmm.
And sport flying will begin on the July 16th and will run through the following Friday, July 22nd. That's going to be kind of cool.
Yeah, that'd be exciting. Some competition flying begins Monday, July 18th, runs through Friday, July 22nd. And Friday evening, July 15th, includes a Sport Flyers briefing as well as U.S. team fly-offs for the North Coast Cup briefing and model check-in. All kinds of interesting stuff going on there.
And if you don't know, NARM 63 is going to be at the Springfield, Missouri, located in the southwestern part of the state. And the Oasis Hotel is the official hotel of NARM 63 and will host nearly all of the evening activities. And the flying field is located west of Springfield. For more information, check out the NAR website as well. Now they're going to have sport range, the contest range all set up and going. They're going to be there will be pads with 1010 and 1515 rails for the high power rockets. They'll be available as well as 1/8 inch and 3/16 inch and 1/4 inch and 3/8 inch and 1/2 inch rods. For rockets that use those, and rockets with up to M motor classes can be accommodated with an FAA waiver to 6,000 feet. That should be fun.
What's nice about this is actually Tripoli, Missouri, Kansas is helping out with this. So good job, Tripoli, for helping out the NAR on doing this with the sport range.
And then on the contest range, Gene already talked about that one. And Chad Ring will be serving as the NARM contest director for the contest range. And NARM at night. That's going to be kind of fun. Let's talk about that one.
In addition to sport and contests flying each day, they're going to be doing the traditional NARM evening events throughout the week, including the Manufacturers Forum, the Cannon Fund Rocketry Memorabilia Auction. That sounds like fun. The NAR Town Hall meeting, of course. The free ice cream social, beer lofting. That always sounds like it's fun. And other events that culminate with the awards banquet on Friday evening. It sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah. So there you go. Once again, that was NARM 63. That's happening in Springfield, Missouri this year. So check that out at the NAR site for more information on that one. And we also still have going on the NAR Board of Trustees voting window is still open. And you can vote in person at the NARM during the town hall meeting. You can also do this online, which I did, or by mail-in ballot. And the mail-in ballot, if you want to know where to find that, it's on the Model Rocketeer magazine. It's in there from the May-June 2022 issue. So check it out if you want to do the mail-in version of it. Or you can vote online at the NAR.org, which I did, and or at the town hall meeting, which will be held Monday, July 18th at NARM.
Your vote counts. Go and do it. Whether it's online or at the town hall, just go and vote.
And our candidates, we have looks like a new candidate, Don Carson from Macon, North Carolina.
Macon, North Carolina, right? Yep.
Macon, North Carolina,
right.
Yeah. And we have two of the current board members going for re-election, Becky Green of San Rafael, California, and also Lynn Thomas of Indianapolis, Indiana. So they're on the ticket as well as Don Carson. So make your votes on that. The winner would take office on the 18th at the town hall meeting.
Okay, moving on. We're going to get into some of the contest results of this year. We'll start off with the 2022 NASA student launch results. Just quick little brief on it. Each year, NASA student challenges middle school, high school, college, and university students from across the United States to design, build, and launch a high-powered amateur rocket, fly to an altitude of between 4,000 and 6,000 feet, and make a successful landing. Middle school and high school teams choose to attempt the College University Division Challenge or to develop their own science and engineering experiment. Teams in the College and University Division tackled a new task that mirrors NASA's missions like the Mars Curiosity rover. teams had to design a payload capable of autonomously locating where the rocket landed by identifying the rocket's grid position on an aerial image of the launch site while transmitting the data back to their ground station. This had to be accomplished. It's tough stuff. Had to be accomplished without the use of GPS, which makes it even more fun. The requirement simulates a challenge faced by NASA's missions managers communicating with spacecraft and payloads on distant planetary bodies like Mars or wherever, where GPS is not an option. So 60 teams from 22 states, including Puerto Rico, took part in the year's competition, with 27 teams launching April 23rd near NASA's Marshall Space Flight Center in Huntsville, Alabama. And teams that did not travel were allowed to conduct their final test flights at their home launch field. And for the second year in a row, the University of North Carolina at Charlotte won the launch division, while Tarleton State University in Stephenville, Texas, won first place in the design division of NASA's 2022 Student Launch Rocketry competition. The University of North Carolina at Charlotte will receive $5,000 for the first place in the launch division, and Tarleton State University receives $2,500 for the first place in the design. And the other top 5 teams in the launch division were number 1, University of North Carolina at Charlotte; 2, University of Notre Dame, Indiana; 3, Vanderbilt University of Nashville, Tennessee; 4, University of Florida in Gainesville. Lots of southern states there. 5, Purdue University in West Lafayette, Indiana. I spoke too soon there. And the 2 top teams in the design division were Tarleton State University in Stephenville, Texas, and 2, New York University. That's a lot of stuff.
Yeah. So congratulations to the winners of that. Congratulations to all the teams that made it into the top 5 tiers and all that. Great work.
Oh, yeah.
And look forward to seeing what happens next year with the student launch program. I hope to get more information on future episodes this year. We kind of took a back seat after COVID hit on a lot of things because it was there's just a lot of confusion in general for the last 2.5 years or so. But now that things are settling down, we're hoping to get more organized shows around the upcoming events that people will be preparing for next year. And speaking of more contest stuff, this is the TARC results. And I gathered up a bunch of information on this, and I kind of went, I think I know what they're talking about. But I know, Gene, you know more detail than most of us on that. So we'll run through this list here.
Okay. The goals of this year's competition were to loft 2 eggs mounted horizontally, not vertically like normally, but like long ways, to an altitude of 835 feet and a flight time of 42 to 45 seconds without breaking the eggs. So the rocket had to be in 2 separate diameter body tubes with a transition, and it had to be attached as it came down. So no splitting off into 2 pieces. The number of parachutes didn't matter. And there were 753 teams that competed this year, I believe. There were 2 of those were my teams. Yay. And the top 100 teams went to finals to do the final fly-off in Herndon, Virginia, as always. And the flights went very well that day. The first round went off without a hitch. There was a little bit of rain between the 2 rounds, but that gave the people a chance to go and check out some of the sponsors, which include Raytheon and Boeing and some major aerospace players and the Space Force, and Estes was there. Estes was great because they had a huge booth there. They've always been a big proponent of TARC, and I had a chance to chat with the people at Estes for a little while. I always love those guys. So hi to the folks at Estes. I'll be talking to you soon. But my team ended up doing, out of the 100 teams, came in 42nd, but first in our state. So I was pretty happy about that. But to the results of the main contest, their first and second place in the finals were taken by Newport High School of Bellevue, Washington. So they actually had 2 teams that made a first and a second place. And their total score was 13 for the first position, which is amazing, and 14 for the second place. So that's a really good score. Just to give my team, for getting halfway in the mid pack, they got a score of 40 roughly. So that is lower score is better.
So let's go through the scoring system here. And I would also note that Newport High School team number 2 made it to first place, and team number 1 made it to second place. So there you go, for what that's worth. But But tell me more about the scoring system. What does all that mean? Like their flight 1 had a score of 2 and flight 2 had 11 and total score of 13. Yeah, break that down.
Assume the best score is absolute 0. So for every foot of altitude, you get docked a point. You get, so if you're outside of the window of that altitude, and for the competition, they flip a coin the night before, so it's either going to be 25 feet up or down from the original target of 835. So when they flipped the coin this year, it was low. So 815 feet was the first target. So everybody goes through that flight at that altitude, and if any deviation in time is 1 second multiplied by 4. So if you're off by a second, that's 4 points added to your score. Every second's 4 points.
Okay. Alrighty.
So to get a score of 2 is pretty amazing, especially since that you had to flip the coin the night before. So that's basically, they nailed it on that first flight. The second flight is they used the up altitude, the other altitude that wasn't chosen for the first round. And the team 1 got, the team that got first place, the Newport team 2, actually for their second flight, they got a score of 11, which is amazing. So, and then they just add the 2 scores together. So the first flight's 2, second flight's 11, you get a final score of 13. So that is an incredible score. Really, really good. So they deserve that. So congratulations to Newport High School, Team 1 and Team 2 from Belleville, Washington. Now, I'm not sure if their Team 1s or 2s have any significance. So usually teams will, each school will have, if they'll field as many teams as they can because it's a better chance to get into finals, right? And those guys were fortunate enough to have both teams that they had in there. They might have had more, but it looks like there are at least 2 teams that the 2 of them to take first and second place is really, that's special. They know what they're doing there. So good job, guys, at that school. It's amazing. So
Team 2 walked away with $20,000. It looks like, and Team 1 $15,000. So that goes to
not only that, but that goes to their Rocketry program, and then the rest goes to I think most of it goes to the Rocketry program specifically, and then $1,000 or $2,000 goes specifically to the school. So it's kind of nice because that money is used for the specific rocketry programs of the schools. And they make that very specific. So kudos to the sponsors out there at your Raytheons and your Boeings for doing that, because that helps to keep the aerospace industry, talent pool deep for up and coming engineers. So they're doing the right thing there. But those guys get the team 1, the team that got first place gets to go to the World. So this summer they're facing off against Japan, France, and the UK in London for a spot at World Tournament. And that's a country. So there's 4 or 5 countries that compete in that. And then the top country takes that home. So it's been a kind of a U.S. dominated part of TARC. Usually our teams do very, very well out there. So we'll see what happens with our team from Washington. So good luck, guys, at Worlds. It's coming up in July. So it's coming up quick. So I hope that they're ready. I know they will be.
And running through some of the other teams here, at number 3, we had All Saints Episcopal School from Hazlet, Texas. And so their score was 17.12. Spring Grove Area Intermediate School, team number 2, and from Spring Grove, PA. They came in 4th place, and their score was 19.8. So not bad there. So I think Spring Grove, they follow us a lot, right? I believe.
Spring Grove is a powerhouse at TARC. They have an incredible program. They've got some incredible mentors, great team leaders. They're a known force at TARC, but they have a lot of teams out there. They do SLI, they do TARC.
Yes,
they have an incredible
they're the ones
program.
I was thinking of. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and they have also got an amazing online presence too. So they're very, very good at marketing themselves, and they do a great job. There's a great bunch of people there at Spring Grove High.
Yes. We'll continue on here. Number 5, Coleman High School from Coleman, Texas. Came in at 5th place with their total score of 20.12. And another one that I recognize, Creekview High School, team number 3 from Canton, Georgia. They came in at 6th place with a score of 24.2. I guess it's Camas High School from Camas, Washington. Is that right? Am I saying Camas right?
So. Yeah, Camas. I believe so. Yeah.
They came in at 7th place with a score of 25.16. So that's kind of cool too. And this is really tight. These scores, like you mentioned that before, how close it all is. The young engineers in action from Hawaiian Gardens, California, and they came in at 8th place with a score of 29.64. Thomas Jefferson High School from Alexandria, Virginia, came in at 9th place with a total score of 33.8. And Tharpton High School from Russellville, Alabama, came in at 10th place with a score of 35.12. Man, and you guys did what, 40, you said?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's some tight so that's a tight competition there.
Oh, yeah. Well, in order to get into the finals, I mean, my team did great. They got a score of 0 on one of their qualification flights, which means when I pulled out the altimeter and saw 835 on it, I was freaking out because I knew at that point that those guys were going to be in the finals.
Wow. Well, talking about
contest,
the lottery kind of thing. Yeah.
It is, but and it's a lot of skill involved too. And also this year, the guys had learned a lot. So hopefully the team coming up this year will they take some of the tricks. They learned a lot of special tricks this year, so they were able to do pretty well. And I'm pleased with them for making that in the mid pack of that contest. It's a great contest and really a lot of fun to do.
Very cool. So here's our little update on the news for you. A little bit, just a tiny bit on the show, but we'll be rolling up pretty soon with more stuff. But in the meantime, we figure we'll do little things like this as things pop up and do little updates because a lot, the last couple. This news like this that we just announced, it's just easy to get lost when you're interviewing exciting Rocketeer people and all that. And we kind of,
right.
We've been doing such a great job with that the news behind Rocketry kind of gets a little lost. So I figured, it'd be good to do, in between shows. And we're doing a lot of production stuff to do these things to kind of update the goings on and the hobbies and all that. So,
and especially now that the hobby, there seems to be like a new energy in the hobby, and coming out of COVID too helps certainly a lot. So
yes.
Everybody's getting itchy to fly. There's lots of stuff going on, and it seems to be all over the place. And real happy to see it, just being out there, just seeing the hobby alive and well and doing so strong lately. And to have all this news, it's hard to for us to get all of it together at some point, because it's coming at us from all directions. So I think it's a good idea to just kind of throw this stuff out there for people. Let us know what you guys think if you like this format. If you just want to hear more of this kind of consolidated into a podcast that we do for you, just let us know.
Anyway, so there's the news here on The Rocketry Show. And if you email us at mailbag@TheRocketryShow.com, if you've got a big launch coming up, let us know. We'll throw it in one of our news segments, and we'll maybe do a rundown of clubs that are doing regional or level launches where they want people to come launch with us. It's an event, so let us know that. We'll throw that into our news stuff as well. And as you heard in the beginning of the show, we've got the Bama Blastoff coming off, and they're coming roaring out of the COVID era as well, and they want to come in with a bang. So they're publicizing like crazy. We're going to work on getting some of the club members down there on to talk about it. We're kind of a sponsor of that event as well. So we're planning on going down there and doing a lot of recording. So we hope to see you there. Bring your rockets. It's a huge field. I was there once. You're not going to lose your rockets. It may take you a while to get to it, but you're not going to lose it. In fact, there's one team member, the rocket landed like a couple miles away. And it took them a while to go walk all the way out there in the field, find it, and walk all the way back. But they didn't lose it.
Well, that's like a sod farm, isn't it? You can almost recover barefoot, right?
It's a ranch. It's like I don't know what all goes on there most of the year, if they rotate crops, if it's the same thing. But the fields were not bad to find anything in. They're just huge, so.
Yeah, bring your tracker and you'll be fine. Even
exactly. So there you go. Anyhow, with that note, we'll see you next time. We'll keep you posted with mini shows when we get closer to releasing episodes. Like I said, we've got some great shows for both programs coming up. So we'll see you soon. And thanks for hanging out with us on this news update here at The Rocketry Show. And Gene, what's your phrase?
Keep your eyes in the skies, guys.
All righty. Have a good one.